Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be doing a layout with that darling picture of my grandson. And I just showed you the papers I'm going to be using. They're from the Nantucket stack by Die Cuts with the View, and I bought that at Tuesday morning, so I don't know where it was originally sold. I love this picture of him. He is so beyond cute in this. So I decided I was going to use that red pattern paper there. It's a little polka dot to back the photo of him, because that will be kind of like the brightest piece on the layout, and it will really help highlight him. I want to use that anchor paper, and I want to use a lot of it, but I need even more of a base for the photograph of him. So I'm looking at using that blue stripe for that. But first I'm going to go through and I'm going to cut that paper, and I cut it to 8 inches. So basically you can divide your layout into thirds, kind of like you use the rule of thirds for a lot of other things like clustering and where you place objects on your layout. You can also use it for how you cut your papers. So the blue strip that's there is 4 inches, and the pattern paper itself there is, the anchor is 8. Part of also why I did that is there was an embossed ship on this on the navy background paper, and I didn't want to see that. It was not important at all, and since this photograph was actually taken in November, it really wasn't appropriate for the layout and too mature for the layout of my then 8-month-old grandson. I also, on the side there, have a 4x4 card. That's something that appeared on Facebook. It's from Chamel's True Story line, and I just saved the image and then printed it out and kept it in my where I keep my 3x4 cards. Now I'm thinking I want to cover that join in the paper there, so I'm trying to decide if I'm going to work with red or blue there. And my reds, the color of the reds just wasn't working right for me of what I had chosen. And I knew I had a red chevron washi, and I thought it was in my basket of December daily goodies, because I'm done with my December daily, have been really since the 1st of January, and I'm taping this on the 15th of January right now. I video way ahead just so that I can keep giving you videos on Thursdays or Tuesdays and Saturdays. But anyway, I couldn't find it, and then I just went back. When I couldn't find anything else I liked, I dug deeper in the basket, and it just had fallen under something else. So I used that washi tape there. Now I am not exactly sure where that is from. Normally I label my washi tape, but I didn't with this, and I suspect that it's from Recollections, but I'm not sure about that. I went to my red die cuts here from L Studio, because again, those were handy. They were in my basket of my December daily supplies, and I'm looking here because I date these photos and I forgot to check it out. So I knew that I need that later in my journaling. So anyway, I keep those die cuts for all my Christmas things in those 4x6 photo envelopes from Crupper Hupper, and I was kind of thinking about using some of those. So I tried to pull in a tag from Little Yellow Bicycle, and that did not work. So I decided it was too lined and really the wrong color blue. So I grabbed this airmail stripe or postage stripe journaling card, and that's a printable, and I don't remember where I got it. I have a board of printables on my Pinterest board, my Pinterest site. So I think what I'll do is I'll link that, and it might be in there, but if nothing else, you'll get a whole bunch of links to printables as well. All right, so I just cut out around that because I just printed the card and needed to cut that out. And that little label there is actually from L Studio. It's from a printable from them as well. And that was also in my Christmas goodies. One of the things that was hard about this is if you've watched my videos, you know how much I like to cluster embellishments. Well, they only have the paper stack and it's only paper. There aren't any cut aparts or anything in it. So I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do for embellishment. So I just pulled things that I knew I had that group of red embellishments. I just grabbed that little banner there. It's a vellum banner, and that's again is from Elle Studio. And that little those little circles there are from just a group of embellishments from Elle Studio again as well. I got a bits and pieces grab bag at on Black Friday, and that's where well, I shouldn't say all of it, but most of this is from that bits and pieces grab bag. It was really worth it. There's lots of really good stuff in here. And then what I've done is if I had bits and pieces left from any kits that I had or any sort of random things, those went in there as well too. And so I'm just pulling things. That little piece is from a printable, from like a summer printable that they had, that I had accidentally sized too small. So it was supposed to be a 3x4 card, which I do have it as a 3x4 card as well. The tab up on the top is also from that same bits and pieces grab bag. So I just went and found the red and blue pieces to see if there was anything that could work for me. And I'm really liking how this looks. And I did something on this layout that is hard for me, and that is that if the colors don't match exactly, like if the blues aren't exactly the same or the light blues aren't exactly the same, it tends to bother me and I don't like to use them. And on this layout, I tried to really get over that, especially with the reds I was using. So that really seemed to work, and I think I did a really good job. Now here I'm going to cut this little high five arrow out, and that is from the Cameron cutouts from Elle Studio. Cameron is a boy line that they had a few years ago, and I bought them on like a special when they had a special clearance. So I liked how that kind of looked over that vellum banner. It really highlighted the banner, got a pop of red in there, and got that brighter red in. That brighter red is in that little rocket ship. So I like the way that ended up looking. And I love how the little sentiment on that rocket ship card is, I have every intention of making today the best day. Which I'm not sure he has that thought, you know, but it's really cute. And it's a rocket ship and he's a boy. And now that I think about it, I combined inkers and sailing and ships and a rocket ship. Interesting. I didn't even think about that until I was just recording this now. I am inking the edges of all of these pieces. I really needed to do it to get the blue to really stand, the blue stripe paper to stand off the anchor paper. And that's the whole thing. The anchor paper is so busy that inking on the edges is really helping. And I inked that card and I lived dangerously because that is actually a slick surface. I printed it just on photo paper, and I use my regular Jenny Bolin fountain pen ink to do that, which is not a slick surface ink, but I put it down right away and I think it'll be fine. You know, it's gonna dry. I haven't run my hands over it lately. I just did, and it is actually dry. So that's good. Now I'm going to fuss with this arrow a little bit. I had sort of cut that card down and I just didn't have enough room. It was like I was going to end up leaving space between the edge of the card and where this banner fell. Plus I wanted the banner, it said who, what, and I think where, or who, when, and where, or who, when, and what, I guess, on that little airmail stripe card. And I really wanted to cover the what with that arrow. So this is a bit of a It's a little hard because I also don't want to cover that. I want the banner to stick out beyond that arrow. So I'm having a little difficulty here as I'm working with this. And now that I look at this, I need to pull my camera arm attachment a little bit further out so you can see the bottom of the layouts. I move my camera for something or my arm for something, and it just hasn't. I think it was when I taped the or videoed the Merry Christmas that you saw at Christmas time. So it's just I've never gotten it quite back in the right spot again. All right, so I finally got that banner and arrow down, and now I'm just going to ink the edges of this little label. And I kind of like the way that just adds a little piece. And I didn't really need that for journaling, and the background is so busy that as I was thinking about this, I decided I was going to put my title on that little label. I'll just find some little letter stickers to do that. That's my big giant roll of ATG foam tape. So you buy that on Amazon and it's about $30 US. So I've had it for 2 years. I have another one in the waiting for when I'm done with this, because once you get to the middle it goes down a lot faster, obviously. So I'm excited to be able to use that. All right, I was thinking about some more embellishments and that was a Simple Stories line, but there was nothing that was just red or blue. There were other colors. I pulled out some wood veneers from Ellie's studio and I like the lightness and the different color and texture that they add to this layout. So I'm going to use that label there. And that's it's from a package of wood veneer like labels and tabs. I think if I remember correctly, I didn't write it down, but they're available on their website if you just go to the website and search wood veneers. And then I have these stars, those wood stars, and they came from the Ella's Studio Sunny Days wood veneers from the Sunny Days collection. There were 3 or 4 of them in that package, and I was able to just use them all up. And again, I just like the lightness of those wood veneers, and they do a nice job of sort of leading your eye around all of the clusters. And I thought I was done, but then I had pulled out, actually, I thought I was done embellishing. I knew I needed to get this title done, so I'll talk about that in just a second. These little letter stickers come from My Mind's Eye. It's from the Necessities collection, and this is the Alpha and Word stickers in blue. So they have these packages, or had these packages of stickers in all different shades of blue, which are fantastic. So you always have like just the right color. The name of this layout is Lil Stud, and that's because his daddy posted this to his Facebook page, and that was the title on it. So that's where that comes from. But oh my gosh, that hat is so cute on him with those big chunky cheeks. I might be just a little bit prejudiced, but he's awfully cute, even without the hat and the little vest. All right, and I'm just taking my white gel pen and putting a little apostrophe at the end of that second L, so it's grammatically correct. All right, so here's what I was talking about before. I thought I was done, and then I had pulled out these red stars from these enamel stars from Bella Boulevard. They're the enamel doodads in Macintosh, and they had hearts, arrows, and stars on them. I think I just have arrows and stars left. And I like the little bit of pop of color, and again, a little bit of a different texture. It's shiny and kind of puffy. So I love the way that turned out as well too. Just adding that in. And it's another way to sort of highlight those wood veneer as well. So you have that lightness and a little different color of the wood. And then that little red star to pop that kind of up. All right, so now I'm just going to quick journal on this, and I'm using a brand new journaling pen. My American Crafts .05 journaling pen died during my December daily, and I just didn't have a chance to get to the craft store or scrapbook store to get a new one. But this is a Pitt pen now. Tracy Banks, who is Mercy Tiara on YouTube, uses one, so I thought I'd try it, and I actually like it. So I am just about done with my layout. There'll be a still shot and a couple of detail shots. Hope you are all well, and I'll be back with another video soon. Bye!